Who wants to hear who the judges chose as the top 3 winners? Nobody? Oh, I guess we won't, okay? Okay, Sarah, of course. Sarah,
there we go.
Sarah from Nova Learn always raises her hand first.
Good.
You get the one for the most positive energy online, Sarah. Okay. So what we're going to do is all 6 teams are hard. If you look at the scoring sheets, it was so close. Okay. And so what we're going to do is based on the collective scoring and evaluation by all the investor judges, we're going to start from 3, 2, and 1. And one of the things that this, the way we did it sort of simulates is, remember what Bill said on the first couple of days about investors? What is it? What are the 3 things that Bill said? How do investors invest? Hey, no one's going to shout out the answer?
Not even Sarah? Wow. I'm so upset. Okay.
Steven, some help here, please, Steven.
The heart, the gut,
heart,
and
head,
the brain.
and gut.
Yeah. Okay. So, some of it's based on those 3 organs that everyone kind of chooses, and this is what came out of it. So, I'd like to invite Edith to present the 3rd place team.
Oh, do we need some music? Drum roll. Okay, 3rd place is Green Coat. Yay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And Edith, why did you like Green Coat? Why did you score them as one of your top ones?
I think in terms of the product is definitely unique. I mean, Oliver, I think there's definitely the pitch. There's a lot more you can cover, but I think like the particular for Hong Kong as the environment, the cheaper, faster is definitely a value proposition. And I think a lot of the commercial real estate developer and property manager will resonate with it. And I think Hong Kong itself, it's just the office space alone, there's a big enough of interesting enough to start as a market. And then it depends. I'm not expert in prop tech, but it'll be super interesting to think about like after Hong Kong, where next. And I don't know like any regulatory implication whatsoever, but it will be super interesting to learn more about it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Edith. And to all the other judges and mentors. Thank you.
Thank you, Oliver.
Thank
all
you.
Right. Number 2, drum roll. All right. Tim Dick will announce the 2nd place.
It's NM Optum.
Yay!
So
loud applause.
Yeah, so we like this because heavy industry is not the fastest moving industry in the world. And biting off steel manufacturing, optimization, our sense is that there's a lot of room to create smart learning optimization algorithms, not just within the steel industry, but within all kinds of manufacturing industries across Asia and across the entire world. There is a sense that there is some of this coming out of Germany, but what you're doing here in heavy industry is, none of us are experts here, but we think you've got a very big market, and we suspect that there's a lot of companies that can benefit by making their machines and their processes work smarter.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Sherry,
loved it. We really liked it.
How do you feel, Sherry?
I can't believe it.
Great job. All right. Now for the grand winner, the number 1 out of amazing 50 startups in the May 2021 cyber cohort. Shomit, would you please announce the 1st place?
Sure thing. And just to echo what Gigi already said, great job by all 6 of the teams. We had a super tough time figuring out the ranking here. So great job by all of them. But in first place today, V Mission and a very wonderful presentation by Danny Chan. Great presentation, great Q&A. Danny, the reason why we loved your project so much is because alternative data brings access and access brings equity. So if you think about access to financial capital, you're helping to deliver that. This has already been shown, as we know, within consumer lending, and to be able to bring that to SME using alternative data, we think is a really cool thing. So you're on to big things, we know.
Thank you. Thanks for the judges, and shout out to Virginia as well. She helped me a lot on my pitch. Thanks for the judges as well.
Late last night too, huh? Last minute
Yeah,
too.
very late, actually. very late. So very surprising. Thank you.
Great work.
No, there's another reason why we collectively like this is that access to consumer credit helps people who are not that wealthy gain access to higher levels of credit, and that helps put them often into better jobs or better homes. So there's a real good in this mission as well.
Thank you. That's actually why we're called the mission. Like me and my partner, we're trying to bring value and mission to the things we do, and especially SMEs in this project.
Yeah.
Well done.
To add on, and not only to create a mission, and we also to share the values with other stakeholders.
Yeah.
Excellent. So congratulations.
I would like, thank you, Danny. Congratulations. So what I'd like to do is that everyone can turn on their microphones and thank the judges for spending their Wednesday night, listening and giving valuable feedback.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And Catherine, do you have any last comments before we move on to the next section?
Thank you so much to all the cyber mentors and judges, and it's really excited to learn all those 6 companies and the results, and we will do some publicity, and we'll work with our planning team together on some social media and to announce the results, and please do keep up to connect with the mentors and judges. And sometimes we heard from startups saying, hey, where could I find the investors? But actually they are near you, so please try to keep updated with your project or products development, to let them know you know your development, and so they or their investor friends in their network could reach you someday. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you. So what we want to do is close this program with a few words of wisdom from each of the cyber mentors. And so each of you will, after meeting a group of you and then listening to all the pitches and also discussing it with all the other cyber mentors, the different companies, I'd like each of the cyber mentors to give their last words of wisdom to the group, and then also make a comment about why they chose the team that they mentored for the finals. So, Bill, starting with you.
Sure. Yeah. So you want words of wisdom?
Yes.
Is that what you said? Yes. Okay.
Pearls of wisdom.
Pearls of wisdom. Pearls. So small, right? Okay. As opposed to, yeah. So, one of the things that I notice is a challenge for entrepreneurs and came up a few times today is the difficulty of being concise and clear and specific. And so what I think would help everyone is always have a clear, understandable use case or application case or to clarify, there's a lot of Q&A around vMission, around, okay, well, who exactly uses it and exactly for what? And it was, and for each of you with NM Optim, exactly kind of what are you optimizing, and could you be a little bit more clear and specific in terms of specific use cases? So you don't have to lengthen your presentation. You can get rid of some of the sort of generalizations and instead replace them with sort of 3 examples that everybody goes, oh, that's how you use it. So I just was noticing that in all the pitches that they would all benefit from some, just 3 clear and specific examples of kind of how it's applied, where it's applied, RPA, same issue, right? Generalized robotic process automation, generalized, process automation. But in Q&A, it wasn't until Q&A that we got to, give us some examples, but yeah. And so I did, so I'm beating up on Floyd and Bosco. They were my team because I love the traction. I mean, these guys jumped out of big corporate environments and they launched their own business, and they scraped together a revenue generating and rapidly profitable business. I mean, within a year, they figured out how to make profits. I love that. I love that in an entrepreneur. And while they were doubling in terms of their growth. And then, they were applying their own medicine to their own business, trying to go from a consulting labor-intensive model to an automated software-intensive model. And so it was just, I think they've got huge upside. And Floyd, I think you did a great job with I won't tell everybody what the slides looked like before, but I think you did a great job of simplifying and clarifying everything. So thank you for all of your hard work. And I just got,
thank you for the mentorship, Bill, and the book as well. We've got 2 copies over here in Hong Kong.
Oh, great. So I wanted to emphasize with Gigi's point that if you look at all of the judges' scores, the 6 of you were unbelievably close. It was, I mean, it's not like it was easy at all for us to pick the top 3. So great job for everybody.
Thank you, Bill. So Virginia, would you like to give your wise words of wisdom?
No, but I'll just speak. I'm not sure about the wisdom part, but I'll just speak. Right? First of all, I think the team I mentored the last for this pitch was Danny and vMission. And I think what I'd like to say would apply to everyone. And that is, as an entrepreneur, you are really believers in what you do, and you're in a big hurry to tell your story. And so I'd just like to remind everyone, and last night when Dan and I chatted, instead of going through his pitch deck, what we did was, hey, step back and say, what is it that you're doing, or what is the value proposition you're offering to the people you're helping? Think deeply about that, all right? And once you get past the fact that I need to tell my story, but rather it's your customer story that you're telling, it changes your perspective of how you frame the pitch deck. And so the other thing I asked him to think about was, don't assume that investors know the context that you're operating in, that they know about Hong Kong and Asia and SME and all the challenges and of money flow and so forth. Do not assume that. So just depict the problem context in very simple form so they understand the context, and then tell your customer story, not your story. And I think that's a general statement I'd like to share with everyone, and it may carry you far. And it's about having deep empathy about what you do for your customer. And you will be very successful when you do have that kind of deep empathy, because you'll build the solution that your customers want. And good luck to everyone post this cohort. I really enjoyed the program. Thank you, Gigi, for having me.
Great. And Virginia, well, did you want to talk about why you championed V-Mission?
Oh, well, that one was easy, is because I thought he was offering us service to SMEs that is so needed, especially in the middle of COVID, and nobody has any access to. I mean, the banking system I don't know about the US, but in Asia is fairly hostile towards SMEs. The banks here take no risk. So if you're an SME, there's absolutely nobody who will loan you money. And so most SME here in Asia are living hand to mouth, month to month, trying to figure out how to make their cash flow work. So I thought what Danny and V-Mission was trying to do was really a much needed value proposition. So that's why I chose to mentor V-Mission.
Fantastic. Thank you, Virginia. So, and the next Cyber Mentor is Cal Deutsch. Cal, can you give your pearls of wisdom and why you chose the team you chose?
Yeah, so actually, my pearls of wisdom actually dovetail perfectly with my selection of Green Coat. And you guys heard me talk a couple of weeks ago about, thinking about the metrics that matter in the analytics. But I encourage you to also, when you have a number that shines, don't be afraid to put it into the deck if it tells a powerful part of your story. And so now thinking about Green Coat, and also going back to what Bill always tells us about getting to wow. And in this case, one of the getting to wows is the unfair advantage, which again, Bill had taught us. And it came down to those numbers for me within Green Coat. And there were two just screaming at you. It's 2 to 8% of the cost of the incumbent products out there right now. That gave me context. Yeah, 3 layers instead of 5. It's much cheaper to manufacture and scale. That is a very powerful unfair advantage that nobody in the market has right now. And then the other part, of course, is just that business case of up to 30% savings on energy costs for as long as the product lasts, like 10 years. So, Oliver and I together did a very quick internal rate of return of 66% for the customers, which is this massive business case. So those numbers screamed out at me. And so, kudos to Oliver and his entire team for, setting up this company. And it's a good lesson to you guys that when you have those numbers that just tell a powerful story, don't be afraid to brag about it in your pitch deck and in your pitch.
Great. Thank you, Cal. All right. Next Cyber Mentor to share the pearls is Ken Singer. Ken?
All right. So the truth is that we didn't really get to select our teams. It was a group effort. We all came together and we decided on the teams that we thought would represent the program the best here in this competition. And so I'm always disinclined to say, these are the best. Like I hate the kind of this normative thing. I like to look at it as you peaked at the right time, right? So all the things conspired at the right time: the pitch, the mentor, the story, the opportunity, the COVID. For some of you, COVID has been not so good, but for others, it's been actually a driver of business. So all of these things conspired to make this moment the right time for some of you. And so I encourage all of you to continue on in what you're working on, because every single team that I got a chance to work with had something in it that really was inspiring and that had real value. And you guys were all kind of digging to really find and then to sculpt that value so that we understood it. So I just want to send kudos to everybody for doing that. And so the team that we selected that I got a chance to coach was StarKid. And again, all of the teams I worked with I thought were great. But I think the thing with StarKid, other than the fact that 2 of the founders are UC Berkeley grads, what I really liked about it, other than the fact that they were making money, which is great. It's great to work with a team that has data of actual financial success. is that they had the words Toastmasters in their presentation. I was like, I'm never going to see a presentation with that in there. And what was great about it is that it gave me a sense of what they were actually doing. There's so many education companies out there that are just trying to make money. They're just trying to, sell you another word, trying to sell you another preposition, another grammatical thing, just to increase your so-called English comprehension. But what I think people in Asia don't necessarily understand is that English is a tool. It's not just you need to learn it, but it opens up doors for opportunities, in particular to study around the world, right? Not just in Hong Kong or China or Asia, but be a part of a global community and be a leader in the world, not just a leader in your local area. So I was really inspired by what they could possibly become, not just another English language company, but one that was driving purpose, helping people not only just to know the language, but to use it for great effect and possibly for the rest of us, right, as they take on leadership roles. So that I was really inspired by that. So I love working with this team, really responsive and great. And so I just my words of wisdom. One is tactical and the other one is, I think, just kind of a way to conceptualize what this whole program is about. The first is the tactical part. So all of you prepared to do these pitches, did the presentations and the slides. That's kind of a lie, because those 3-5 minutes, they earn you the right for a meeting with an investor, right? And that was a question I asked the investors in our conclave, and all of them had different teams that they would have had a second meeting with, which is interesting, right? It's fascinating. But no VC will let you get through 5 minutes without them completely taking you down a Q&A. Immediately will take you off course. And so that Q&A is actually, and Tim's like, yeah, that's me.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah, but that is the game. That 3 to 5 minutes is the ticket to the game. And you need to nail that Q&A. So that last team, the V team, right? That was a clinic, and I teach this all the time, right? That was a clinic on how to handle Q&A. He had every judge just going back and forth in a seamless, it was almost like it was syncopated. It was in this almost rhythm he was going with all of the investors. That's where you want to get to. That whole comfort in understanding your problem, understanding your market, and also understanding your weaknesses, being able to discuss that amongst everyone is a power. And that's something that as an entrepreneur, you need to capture and to develop. So that's a tactical piece of advice. And then just how to conceptualize these competitions. These are opportunities for you to get signal. Whether you win, you lose, or whatever, your goal here is to hear from people who have money, right? They have the capacity to invest in you. They might not be those who will invest in you, but they will give you the clues to find the people and how to speak to the people who would give you money. So if you haven't been paying attention in this and watching other people get coached, you're missing the lesson here, right? Is to listen to how others are getting feedback, what the investors care about, what directions they take the conversations. That is the power of these programs, is to expose yourself to all of the kind of activities, the questions, the interactions that you will necessarily have to do when you become funded. So I just encourage you to continue to do these kinds of programs so that you can get the signals that will eventually lead you to your success.
Great. Thank you, Ken.
That's a really great point. And one thing about VCs is we see, an active investment, a VC is probably seeing close to 1,000 companies a year. So we're not experts in your business, but we know the patterns that drive success, and that's what's going to lead us to the questions that we ask. So,
great, thank you, Tim. And along with what Tim's just saying is, beyond the questions that they ask you, is think about why are they asking you that question? Where are they coming from? Are they asking you that question because they're wondering if it's a big enough market? Are they asking you that question to see if you really know how to sell? What is behind the question they ask you? Okay, so think about that. Now, and to the mentor who was my tag team on many of the companies, Bob. Bob and I were texting every.
Yeah, somehow Gigi and I ended up with a lot of the same companies. But of course, I'll echo everything that everyone has said so far about what a great cohort this was and how much fun it was, working with you guys. And as Virginia was talking, it kind of triggered something in me. As Virginia said, don't assume that your audience knows your market or your product, and to kind of build on that. Also, don't assume that they don't see a wider future, a bigger market than you might be, especially in a very technical product. I worked very closely with Daniel and NeuroPix, the epilepsy wearable, and I think as we worked through the mentoring with him, we kind of built a bigger picture about the future, that this could be used for migraines and depression and anxiety, and the device could be miniaturized. And I thought of like in diabetes, a generation ago, you had to inject yourself twice a day, and maybe the insulin worked with your food that you took that day, maybe it didn't. And now a patch can monitor your insulin levels and determine the right dosage. And I think Daniel, and there's no criticism, but you're working very, very, very hard on a very technical niche issue. You don't maybe see the bigger picture. So think of your audience as people that can give you more feedback on what a wider view of this product could be, and be willing to look beyond the 6 months or 1 year, 2 year goal that you may have, and kind of think much broader. And I really enjoyed working with Daniel and NeuroPix, and as I said, I've enjoyed working with everyone as well.
Great. Thank you, Bob. So now it comes down to me, your last Cyber Mentor. Building on what everyone was saying, one of the things, actually, I'm going to back up and I'm going to say my company and then give me my words of wisdom. So the team that I coached for the finals was NM Optim. So go, Sherry. And, Sherry, when I first met her, I'm like, oh my gosh, this solution is amazing, because basically you're taking data in and then creating something that can help a business. And and the fact that she's got this amazing team of like super, super smart, capable people, and that they're actually working on this company together instead of going out and making $1 million salary at a large company, says something about this team, that these people who have other opportunities are willing to come and work on this team. So it must be really good. Okay. And the fact that since we work together, I get like daily emails from her. I get new presentations. I get a video of her presentation. Look.
Yes.
Say that again. So anyways, it's just being really proactive and just really go for it, because that's what it takes to succeed as an entrepreneur. So good job, Sherry. So my tip to you guys is always be looking for the next opportunity. Okay, as these judges gave feedback and asked questions, like Andy Lee, who's right there as a Cyberport mentor, he mentioned people he knew that could even help you. And my question is, how many of you actually took notes down saying, connect with Andy or connect with this one? Each step is not the end of it. Each step is the place where you look for new steps and keep going. So keep connecting. Like, Tim mentioned a lot of, because Tim has had a lot of experience in Hong Kong and knows a lot of people there. He was saying, oh, in this organization and that. Use all of these as stepping stones for your next opportunity, for your next connection. So, be proactive. And then just a great group. Listening to the presentations today, Danny, when you got to the end, you go, oh my gosh, I'm the last one. Like, gosh, people don't want to listen to me. Well, guess what? They did, because you guys were all so good. I haven't gotten up from my seat all night. So awesome. I would like to thank all the cyber mentors for everything, for being such a great team. And then I'd like to turn it over to Catherine Lam, who is been the Cyberport champion for this program for 4 years. Catherine?
Thank you, Gigi. And actually, I would like to say thank you to my teams. Actually, Zoe and also Karen, they did a lot to make this program going smooth. And thank you very much. And yeah, that's all I would like to say. And also thank you so much for everyone joining this program. Yeah. Thank you so much to all the cyber mentors and judges.
Thank you.
And Gigi and Catherine, can I throw out one last offer? I don't know. I can't remember if I offered this at the beginning or not, but for any of the entrepreneurs who would like a free copy of Getting to Wow, you know, I'm afraid to say this because I think Floyd already went out and bought it, right? Sorry, Floyd. I don't know.
Wait, Bill, you didn't even give me a free copy. Are you kidding me right now?
It's definitely worth it. So we were happy to pay for it. It's a very good read.
Advertising.
So yes, so I mean, you should all know where to find me. You can find me at bill@pegasusventures.com. And so if you want a free copy, I am happy to send you a copy. Okay.
And,
so there are 64 people on this online right now. If I get 65 responses, I'm going to be suspicious. So.
All right. Hey, one last thing I forgot is we have Catherine and I have a bonus for you guys. All right.
Good.
This video of today's session is going to be put on the Cyberport platform for all the cohorts. So you can all go back, listen to the pitches, learn from it, listen to all the connections that people mentioned in their feedback. And so it will be up for 1 month for the Cyberport cohort to review. How about how?
How about how?
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks,
all right,
everybody.
Until next time.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye all.